Are you ready for some high school football?
Welcome to Plainsmen Football with Steve and Steve.
And it starts right now.
And now it's time for football in Plainsmen Football with Steve and Steve.
Somebody fire me up!
Welcome again to Plainsmen Football 2016 with Steve and Steve. It's our pleasure each week to kind of give you a recap of what took place on Friday night. What took place on this past Friday night, we'll just skip that topic and move on to what's coming up on Thursday.
Thank you.
No, seriously, Coach, the Plainsmen went to Lawton, and you met a team that was, well, they were ready to play, and I don't know about your team. But anyway, the outcome wasn't so pretty. It was a 51-3 loss. I believe it was 44-0 at halftime. Yeah. Can you just kind of tell us, what did you learn about your team after Friday night or during Friday night's game?
I think it's characteristic of the whole season in that in our district, you have to come ready to play every Friday night, that anybody can beat anybody, as has been demonstrated week in and week out by all the crazy scores. Lawton played outstanding football Friday night on both sides of the ball, and we didn't. And it got away from us really quickly. They're so athletic and so explosive and have the ability to make 60, 70-yard plays if you don't do things well. And they played great, and it comes right down to it. We weren't ready to play, and as a result, we got embarrassed in the way the outcome. We did better in the second half. Our kids came out and competed well in the second half, and I think it was 7-3 score after halftime. But boy, that first quarter was a blitzkrieg as far as them offensively and us not being effective on our offense. So disappointed, but it's behind us. We're going to move on. We're excited about playing Stillwater this week.
You were talking about you better be ready to play. And ladies and gentlemen, we just want to share with you some of the scores that took place last Friday night. Midwest City came back to beat Putnam City West 21-16. Stillwater beat Choctaw. As you know, the Plainsmen came back to beat Choctaw the other night, but Stillwater beat the Yellow Jackets 28-21. And then Deer Creek went on to beat Putnam City 20-14. So as Coach Hayes said, you better be ready to play on Friday night. So, Coach, when you see these kind of upsets or not predictable scores on these other teams, again, that reinforces you better be ready to play. But what else does it tell you about getting ready for the rest of the season?
Well, I think it tells us we have a great opportunity to win the next 3 games. But, week in and week out, you have to show up prepared, and you have to play hard. You can't take anything for granted, and you've got to understand that every team has the ability to win the game. There's enough athletes on every team in our district to win a game if you don't play well. That's really kind of been our deal this year. When we've come ready to play, we've done very well, and those times we haven't, we've gotten beaten pretty badly. And so hopefully we've learned our lesson finally, and we'll be ready to play this week in Stillwater. I anticipate we will be. This is kind of a rivalry game, kind of reminds me of Ponca Week, and so it's be exciting week to come watch us.
Well, one thing about high school football, maybe for 24 hours you can be concerned about your Friday night victory or loss, but you got to move on.
You do. And with Stillwater being a Thursday game, we really had to move on quickly, which when you get beat like that's kind of a blessing.
We'll talk a little bit about preparation for the Pioneers of Stillwater, again, be on the road at Stillwater this Thursday evening. Coach, it's time to move into the highlight segment. What are some of the highlights we're going to see?
Well, they were a little bit more difficult to find this week, but
so this is a shorter segment.
Well, we were able to find enough to fill the segment, fortunately.
Okay.
Defensively, great play by Cross on the reverse. We did a good job of preparing for it. They ran it the first or second play of the game. It was about a 10-yard loss. The fans will enjoy that. There's a great catch by Orion, who will be our guest later on in the show, for a first down. Another great play by Lincoln Sefcik. A good run by Will. A nice sack by Jaden Palmer, as well as a couple other plays that showed our kids did do well at times and had a great effort at times.
Well, great. Let's take a look at the highlights from the last Friday night's game, as Enid traveled down to southwestern Oklahoma to take on the Lawton Wolverines, and in a big district game, if you will, for last Friday. Let's take a look at those highlights, and then we'll meet our student athlete right after this. Welcome back to Plainsmen Football 2016 with Coach Steve Hayes. I'm Steve Keim, and again, thank you for joining us. And again, one of my, enjoyable segments, the opportunity that we get to introduce a student athlete to you. Gentleman to my right, Orion Tafoya, plays offense for the Enid Plainsmen. And Orion, welcome to the Enid Television Network studios. Understand that as a senior, this is your first go-around with August heat and shoulder pads and helmets and all the fun stuff behind the scenes. When everybody else is out playing around, you're doing practice. Well, tell us about your first experience with high school football.
At first, it was kind of weird getting adjusted to the helmet and the face mask being in my face. But after I got over that, it was real easy.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell the audience your number, what position you play, so when they come to the game Thursday night, they'll know who they're looking at.
I'm Orion Tafoya. I'm number 34, and I play wide receiver.
Yep. Orion is a good basketball player for us, and we convinced him to come out and play really a week before the start of football season. And man, over the next month, he worked himself into a starting position. Has been a great contributor for us. You know, in your limited experience playing football, what are some of the lessons that you've learned, and what are some ways that you've improved as an athlete by doing it?
Physically, I feel like I'll be able to jump higher just because there's more weight on my body with shoulder pads. And then things I've learned from football is you have to show up. You can't just come expecting to win. You have to actually play to win, and you have to work hard.
Football is definitely a sport that teaches you about working hard. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
What has been some of the things that you've enjoyed about playing?
Actually getting closer to the people that play football and really, like, becoming brothers with them. I've really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Anything about playing that you didn't expect that you were surprised by?
I didn't expect turf burn to actually burn.
That's true. That's true.
You want to say that again so everybody will catch what you just said? Turf burn hurts. Okay.
It actually burns. Have you been surprised at all, or what you expect as far as the hitting and the physicality? Or
I actually expected to get hit harder,
Yeah.
but it's honestly not that bad.
not as bad as you thought it was going to be?
No.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. So, Orion, tell us a little bit about what you like about school, what classes you're good in, and get to know you a little bit as a student.
Actually, one of my favorite classes is probably my hardest class. It's pre-calc with Miss Bush, and like at first I just got it into just to be in it, but it's actually really fun.
Okay. So you're kind of a math guy.
Not really, but
No?
this math I like.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Over the next couple of weeks, we have an opportunity to make the playoffs. Individually, what are some things you feel like you need to do improve to help the team get there?
I need to work on my blocking skills. I mean, they're all right, but I just need to be more assertive and more physical. I feel like in basketball, I've kind of trained myself not to be as physical.
Sure, you called for a foul, yeah.
Yeah, so I need to get out of that and just be the hammer.
Yeah, there you go. I like that. Be the hammer. That's good. That's good. As an offense, since you're on the offense side of the ball, what do you feel like there are some things that we need to do better as well these next couple of weeks if we're to get our goal of making the playoffs?
We just got to convert. Honestly, whenever we played against Lawton, we didn't convert much at all. And when we did, we actually looked like a good, solid team. So we just need to come out ready to play and be assertive.
Yeah. So do you feel like offensively against Lawton, potentially our play more so than their play affected the outcome?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we might have been intimidated too, but
Okay.
I don't know why we should be.
After playing the game, you really don't, do you?
No.
I think that's why we do better in the second half. We kind of realize that they're not really all that big and bad.
No.
Yeah, that's true. I agree. Well, Ryan, you're going to graduate in May because you're a senior. Talk a little about what your plans are after graduation and what you see yourself doing in the future.
I actually wanted to be a lawyer for the longest time, but now I'm kind of having second thoughts, thinking it might be too boring.
Okay.
So,
all you lawyers out there didn't hear that.
so right now I'm kind of on the fence on what I should do.
Okay, not really sure. Do you know where you're going to go to school? Or?
I think I want to go to OSU,
Okay.
but if I can get a scholarship to play basketball somewhere, I want to do that.
Okay, so that's great. That's great. So just depending on how athletics work out.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Thank you, Ryan. You did a good job.
Thank you.
Well, Ryan, let me ask you a closing question. You touched on it just a little bit about what you've learned from as a senior playing football, the camaraderie and things of this nature. How will this help you as you move on to basketball in the next season, and also really further on in life? The experience that you've had with these guys on the team, how is that going to help you down the road?
I feel like during basketball, it's going to make me become a better leader and help bring the team together as a whole. And when I'm older, I feel like I'll be a better family man and be a good father, just because knowing that I have to have my children's back as well as my brother's backs.
Sure. And I think you just add to the memories of just the great experiences that you've had with your teammates. You'll always have those memories, even 5 years, 15, 20 years down the road. You'll remember back when I was a senior in high school, we did this. So, well, congratulations on the transformation to football, and we wish you well in basketball this season as well.
Thank you.
And again, our special guest today is Orion Tafoya, number 34, and plays as a wide receiver. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
For the Enid Plainsmen. And so let's take this time out. We're going to introduce you to more Enid Plainsmen student athletes, and then we'll have our assistant coach segment right after this. Thank you for staying with us on Plainsmen Football with Steve and Steve.
Hello, my name is Shawn Gardner-Sears. I'm a junior, I'm a corner, and wide receiver.
Gavin Morris, sophomore and left tackle.
Julian Ponce, sophomore, cornerback and receiver.
Hi, my name is Brady Evans. I'm in 10th grade and my position is right tackle.
Augie Pritchett, junior, defensive tackle.
Welcome back to Plainsmen Football 2016. Appreciate you joining us again this week. Our special guest for the assistant coach segment is Shawn Smith. Shawn came up all the way from Texas to join the Plainsmen program back in August. Has it been, this is October, so how quick is August? Does it seem like it's only been a couple months? Has it been a blur?
I have no idea. I don't even know, are we in August, September, October? It's just no breaks until football's over. I'll tell you in December.
Okay. So, Coach Smith, tell us what role do you have in Plainsmen football?
Oh, gosh. I figured that'd be one of his questions. I got a lot of roles. I coach offensive line.
Okay.
I take care of the strength. I'd like to do, a lot of strength conditioning is kind of my forte. I know he's going to bring it up anyway, so I do teach yoga to the kids on Wednesdays. They've actually really enjoyed that, surprisingly. So
very good.
Very good for them. It's been one of the more popular days of the week, actually. Even though it's incredibly painful and uncomfortable, they seem to like it for some reason. So, Yoga Wednesdays, it's called now.
That's right.
Yeah. Give us a little bit of your history as far as prior to coming to Enid and kind of the great experience you bring to Enid, because you do bring some great experience in all those areas.
Okay. I'm originally from Hutchinson, Kansas. Played football there. Ended up getting a scholarship to Southern Illinois under Coach Kill. I played for Coach Kill for 3 years, then he went up to Northern Illinois, then to Minnesota, and he eventually retired and went to K-State to be assistant athletic director. Once I was done playing there, I went back to get my teaching and coaching degree. Lost a lot of weight. Used to be a big fella. Did my personal training type stuff. Got interested in strength, conditioning, and nutrition. Then I went down to Salina, Texas. I coached there for 2 years. We were pretty good there. We were 12-3 semifinalists in Texas, and then 15-0 going into the state championship, and lost that. Unfortunate break there, but eventually got contacted about another job potentially, and it just felt right, and here we are 3 months later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Shawn's been a great fit on our staff. I think offensively we have such good chemistry and just some creative good thinking and a real good blend of experience that it's made it a really fun season, and he's a big part of that. Talk a little bit about your offensive linemen, what you think their strengths are, and some of the things they need to work on and improve as we enter the last third of the season.
And the good thing about offensive line is, you have to be a unit. So if we have our 5 guys and they're playing together, then we usually end up having a pretty good game. And the best part about that is, even though that being a new coach, it's always tough having a coaching transition. But I always tell them, there are things that I'm going to show you that you're going to like. There are things that I'm going to show you that you don't like. And we're going to find whatever's best for you, because ultimately I'm not playing on the field on Friday nights. And those guys have done a great job. As last year you guys were in a 2-point stance, and one of the major things I wanted to focus on was pushing that line of scrimmage and getting them down to 3-point, actually firing off and knocking people in the mouth and getting them going backward. And we finally saw that last couple weeks.
I agree.
And things have been going a lot better. But I mean, ultimately these guys, offensive linemen are always a great group of kids, and usually have some of the greatest characters on the team. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing when I say characters, but we just had a lot of fun so far, and appreciate those guys, and it's just been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's offensive line really is a team within a team, and,
That's right.
and it's just a whole different separate unit of guys themselves. Now, you guys have a Wednesday night tradition.
Thursday. Wednesday and Thursday. We got every night tradition.
Yeah,
so
but they have obviously anything associated with offensive line is associated with eating. And so they have a tradition that they are doing in season
tradition.
now that I think the fans would
very
like to hear
disciplined.
about, as well as the
First
guitar
off.
playing in the karaoke.
Okay, well that's a different. Okay, now you're talking Thursday. So Wednesday we usually stay after for an extra hour and watch film. And with the bye week and everything, it's been kind of crazy lately. But we usually order about 200 wings between the linemen, and we get there and watch an extra hour film together.
Food.
And then Thursday nights, the Whiteheads actually have us all over to the house, and the offensive linemen and myself, and even Coach Connor's coming over a couple times, and because his son loves to eat, got to throw that out there. So Brady will come and help us finish off the leftovers, and we eat, we laugh, watch them play video games a little bit, and here the last 2 weeks they've enjoyed a little karaoke session.
And you have some musical skills. Tell everybody about that.
I don't know if I have musical skills or not, but they like to say, they at least like to think so. But I play guitar and I'll sing with them, and you want to see about 10 to 15 big old offensive linemen singing some songs, and mainly country songs. I know that a few of those guys want me to play some Metallica, but it's just not on the cards.
I thought you were going to say you want to see some big offensive linemen cry because you're playing the guitar.
They might after I leave, but as far as I know, they really enjoy
I think
it.
there may be a concert in the future with him and Dudley Darrell, the principal of the high school, because I
and
think
we're
they're
done.
both quite accomplished.
Coach, we're going to have to move on in this segment.
We're off topic
This
here.
is City Government TV.
right,
we're going to have
that's
to close this segment and
right.
move on.
That's
Let me seriously, we need to move forward. But let me ask you this: the role of introducing yoga to the players. What's the thought process behind that?
I mean, I've done it in certain places, and you see all these professional athletes that do yoga. You see some of them take ballet and
Sure.
dancing and all those things. And ultimately, you probably think that they are laughing at it or not taking it seriously. But if you really, just like coaching, if you take the time to explain it to them, why they're doing it, the importance of what they're doing, they kind of take ownership to it. And thing that I kind of bring to the table is anything that I do for the players, I also take care of some punishment for the players too. Anything that I do to them, I've done myself. And so I'm doing yoga with them. I'm screaming when they're screaming in pain. Coach Hayes is even there, so we can't just throw myself under the bus. Coach Hayes has been there doing some yoga with us. But it's not just about the flexibility. It's about your full range of motion. The strength associated with it. Some of those poses are tough, and a lot of it is focusing and believing you can do it. Because some of those poses are hard to actually hold unless you're really focusing.
Can we have Coach Smith demonstrate his favorite yoga pose?
Let's not do that at all either.
Well, at the end of the season, when we have our bloopers reel, we'll include that. Coach Shawn Smith, thank you for joining us on Plainsmen Football 2016. Appreciate what you're doing to our young people, and welcome to Enid, Oklahoma. Appreciate you being here.
Thanks a lot, Steve.
And thank you for joining us again on our special segment when we have the opportunity to introduce more of the coaches to you. And right now we have that opportunity to meet some additional coaches, and then we'll come back and talk about the character quality focus of the week and also about the next opponent, which will be Stillwater on Thursday night. We'll be right back.
Coach Jake Hayes, running backs.
Coach Kareem Sears, defensive line, defensive ends coach, University of Nebraska. So either you miss the tackle
Thank you very much for joining us on Plainsmen Football. We really do sincerely appreciate the opportunity to come into your homes or even via the internet through Facebook and other avenues through the Enid Television Network and also the Enid Public Schools. They have their avenues as well to introduce to you Plainsmen Football, and thank you for joining us each week. I know the coaches enjoy the opportunity for the exposure and also the student athletes. Sure. And from the City of Enid perspective, we're just in this partnership with you, and we just are thrilled that we're able to do this for you. Coach, last week we talked a little bit about the character quality emphasis, and it was on maturity, and also you said ownership, but I believe a different flavor of a character quality is the 4-minute mile. Can you explain that to us?
The title of our theme this week and really for the next 3 weeks is breaking the 4-minute mile, which was deemed impossible now many decades ago, and now is happening on a regular basis. And it just shows you how important the mental aspect of the game and life is. We're going to focus on breaking the 4-minute mile for us, which is making the playoffs. We have a tremendous opportunity to do it by beating Stillwater, and Putnam City will be in. And if we win all 3 games, we may be a home team. And so, looking forward to talking about that with the kids and seeing a change in mindset.
I believe if memory serves me correctly, it was Roger Bannister that broke the 4-minute mile. Then I think it was within a matter of months, there was 3 more individuals who broke that barrier, if you will.
As soon as one person did it, multiple people did it immediately.
Said, well, okay, if he can do it, I can do it. So that mental aspect. So short week of Stillwater's Thursday evening.
Yep.
How do you adjust?
Well, we actually started installing our game plan with the kids Saturday afternoon and did a walkthrough practice Saturday afternoon, which is unusual. Okay. That's normally not till today. And so today we'll actually have a full practice. And so now we're back on schedule and into a regular week because we went ahead and did it 2 days early. Okay.
Coach, the character quality emphasis, is it doing what you want? When
Absolutely.
You implemented this last year.
Yeah, I mean, I think as the kids come on and talk, and they talk about some of the things, you can see those words reflected in how important relationships are and how important your behavior is. I've had multiple kids talk about on the show this year about being a good husband and a good father one day, and I think that's a byproduct of that.
Yeah, very good. So the character quality emphasis for Enid Plainsmen football, and a little history lesson for you is the 4-minute mile. Okay, we've got this time out, and then we'll close our show right after this.
Armand Velasquez, sophomore, defensive end.
Jaden Palmer, defensive tackle, junior.
My name's Isaiah Mindenhall. I'm a sophomore, and I play corner.
Weston Ingram, sophomore, corner.
Darian Goins, junior, quarterback.
Coach Hayes, I've noticed this trend that even in high school football, especially in college football, you see the quarterback, he may be 5 yards from the center, and there's no more of these counts anymore, no more hikes or under center or anything like that, but you see that quarterback, and he's doing this.
Yeah. Basically when he does that, he's telling the center and the offensive line he's ready for the snap.
I'm ready for the snap.
He sends the snap now to the center, and center of the center's control.
Okay.
And so he's just saying everybody's set up.
And everybody on the line can hear that.
And that's right, now the clap, and so when the center's ready, he'll snap the ball, and the play starts that way.
All right. Coach, snap the ball. I'm ready.
All right, here we go.
Two hands, Steve. Don't do this one-hand stuff.
Right. Look it in.
We'd like to remind everybody that if you have a question for Coach Hayes, please send it to Ask Steve. That's ASKSTEVE at enid.org. Ask Steve at enid.org. Coach Hayes will answer any question that you have. Stillwater, real quick, they've been winning some games. They lost a few games. What do we know about them?
I think they run the ball as many as 77 times in a game, only thrown it twice. Play great defense. Very, very good defensive football team, and so we have our work cut out for it, but it should be another good game.
Yeah. Coach, thanks for being here. Your turn. There we go.
There you go.
Wish you well this week. Again,
Thank
the
you.
Plainsmen travel to Stillwater on Thursday night for another district game. We encourage everybody to make the trip over to Stillwater that we can as we support the Enid Plainsmen football team. Thanks for being with us, Coach. Appreciate you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
And thanks for joining us on Plainsmen Football 2016 with Steve and Steve. Make it a great day.
Thank you for watching Enid Plainsmen Football with Steve and Steve on ETN.